Right, welcome back. And last time we had the brilliant idea of doing two major reforms at once, specifically improving military organization and service. Which means that the nobles no longer get excess gravity from the military organization, and I use enlistment in order to obtain manpower, rather than volunteers, so that moving away from serfdom does not destroy my manpower potential. Oh, and I've also started working on bringing amenities up to rank 2, which we're going to need because, yeah, the population's already big enough for that. I also started, finally, doing manpower stuff again, specifically conscription and citizen service, which gets me about 3,000 manpower, and I can barely afford it at the moment. Though hopefully my property income starts to increase again as population increases. And recruitment costs, which are invariably more expensive than training, I believe, at least I certainly hope it is, eventually disappear. Yeah, okay, so recruitment was about a third of the cost. It was about a third of the cost of the National Army this year, and yet the amount of troops has only increased by less than 500, while the total amount of troops is, well, almost 3k. If you include the citizen militia, it's another good bit, but still. Though I do kind of wish there were more clerical officers. Or at least increase the skill level, but, well, yeah. There's also a decent level of opportunity against Bremen Baden because they have a low amount of troops on the field. However, if I really want to stand a chance, I have to also fight Hoya and Lauenburg, each of which have 1k troops. Oh, and my ally, Lubeck, doesn't even have a military. I don't think they even invested at all into manpower. Well, they have. But their actual military size, yeah. Looks like they're not even paying for a military in any way, shape, or form. Right. Yeah. That's something to eventually occur. I'm also going to have... Also working on getting another pikeman for the army. And then after that, I'll go for a cavalry if I can get the force, or well, at least the manpower to allow for reinforcements. The reason why I didn't... The cavalry are extremely powerful because they have 2 shock. And when they have less fire, it's still a heck of a lot to work with. Especially since, well, until tech level 30, infantry don't have any fire pips anyway, so their fire value is of minimal importance. Well, Bremen also doesn't have top-of-the-line mil-tech, they just have top-of-the-line diplotech. Their bonuses do tend to be pretty minimal. I mean, my cavalry is better. And I have a bit more infantry fire, but fire, again, isn't that important. I have a bit more morale. We have the same tactics. I think, no, same supply limit. Yeah, and cannons are not important. They have too low damage values to really be useful for anything other than sieges. At least not for the next 50 years or so. And it's not until the 1600s when they become a real force on the battlefield that should be invested into. So Poland's in 2 wars now. Excellent. Oh, Brunswick's going up against Bremen Baden. They think they can win. $39 in debt. That's why. I wonder. Okay, military still at that. I've got 2.8. Another year and I should be able to get the force limit up to 3. Brunswick will likely try to go after their original territory here, and probably this province too. I doubt they're going to try to claim more provinces. Many more provinces. Brunswick is also kind of likely to go for Göttingen, though not that likely. Continue drilling for a while. Yeah, it's probably be best if I let it drill for a while longer and then handle it. Okay. They're going for it. They're actually going for it. Coalition against Bohemia. Oh, they're getting the help of Minden, Paderborn, and Saxony. Okay, that's why they're going after that. Minden has no troops, though. I don't know how they managed to get them dragged into the war. Paderborn has 1k, but no manpower backlog. Saxony doesn't even have troops. Yeah, they do have a manpower backlog, though, just like Minden. So really, it's 3k troops altogether. Treachery like nothing else. It's even the penalty of going to 3. Let me check. I can't tell. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to siege anything down but the level 1 forts. Thankfully, practically the entire country is level 1 forts. It's out of the capital. Capital is going to be a mess to try to siege down. And they can't even siege down my capital. Yeah, okay, I think I can actually manage this without needing to resort to... Alright, let's go, let's go. Go back to improving Bohemia's relations again. I would prefer to avoid having to give back any territory, because they might actually demand the stuff. Leave it at light. Right, let's just hope... Okay, so... Siege, 8 days left in the phase. Okay, there's no way to do that before the month ends. Hopefully, I can put everything together just right. Unless they've updated the AI sense to not take into account provinces that don't get any siege progress. I don't know, I haven't played the... not played the vanilla game in ages. Oh no, a water shortage. Either way, I hope this works. And it does, actually. In fact, the effect was immediate. Well, I can wait another month and hope that something shifts, ever so slightly. There's enough days left in the siege timer. I'm not going to risk losing the province, though. That would be too much. But I'm hoping to at least negotiate for the other province, too. I'd be willing to give up some gold for it, but I doubt the... Well, honestly, peace deals like that are not possible, so... Probably because it would be too easy to convince the AI to do something they don't actually want. Oh well, that's how the AI is. Yeah, that would just be too much. I'm trying to make them a vassal would be too much as well. That's what we're giving them to give that promise. Or more than a ducat, I'm afraid. More than a 1.6 ducats. Okay. Oh wow, it also has the effects here. Gentry land ownership will be multiplied by -16. Burghers by 2.4. Clergy land ownership. Wow, okay, that's a lot of numbers here. But in general, land ownership will be reduced. Apparently the province that I'm taking has even more small holding or something. Supposedly. On the other hand, the nobles are extremely powerful here, and there's no burghers. But there are bureaucrats, though not to the degree as it is in my capital. But I finally get myself a second province. Alright everyone, head back head back to the new province. Begin coring. 63 admin points, gonna take 28 days. And it's going to take a while for this province to become properly integrated. Thankfully, unrest is manageable for the moment, though later on this will not be the case. It will most certainly not be the case. Don't need you anymore at the moment. Right. I think that's the manpower for, yeah. Okay. Though I'm not sure if I should actually raise the regiment just yet. Though on the other hand, adverse is going to increase by about 12 because I'm about to core this province in a month. Though that will not be for this session, I've gone for long enough. Right, so. Managed to conquer a province, so my name is actually visible when I zoom out. Though it's no longer... still not big enough to actually properly read unless you get rid... Okay, no. Even if I look closely at the screen, there's too much pixelation for that, but yeah. Won a war against Bremen Werden and their allies all on my own, despite the fact that I have had an army half the size. Though this had to do with the fact that apparently Magdeburg was, I think, warning Brunswick. Brunswick lost the war, by the way. Oh, and Poland's slowly getting torn apart by Bohemia. Yeah. And Denmark, Norway, and Sweden are busy doing their thing there too. But yeah. Once this province is integrated, I can start taxing it, and also, yeah. It's also greatly increased my population. My population quantity, well, it's 75% peasants, which is... So yeah, I've got about 53,000 in originally, 53k population. This province has has almost 80k population, so well more than doubled. Of course, peasant freedom is going to decrease probably, yeah, because the actual conditions of my peasants are worse off. And temporarily, the nobles are much more powerful, but that's going to last only for so long, because the nobles, well, okay, they're slightly gaining in power here, but they're far, far weaker over here. Well, they're far too strong here. They're going down the resting point. Plus there's some issues with provincial corruption over in this province, but that's also going away, just give it time. The societal instability will last another 5 years, though the, I could theoretically reform now, but that's not a good idea. Simply because either well, every reform is a bad idea. In general, just because lack of stability is going to cause issues. So really, I'm going to wait until 1480 to do anything serious. Plus, I'm still losing money. Thankfully, recruitment has basically stopped in my capital province. That's the wrong set of buttons, okay. Yeah. Recruitment is beginning to disappear. Though, thankfully, it seems to be no longer outstripping population growth. Yeah, it's not outstripping population growth. Specifically of the peasants. So we're not going to run out of peasant labor anytime soon. Though we do need more urbanites. Thankfully, they're moving in. And once the construction project completes another unit, amenities will reach rank 2. So I can actually sustain the quantity of urbanites moving in, instead of them slowly dying off. Oh well. Peasants are usually a lot easier to have grow anyway than the urbanites. Also strange that this province actually has rank 1 amenities, but no urban population whatsoever. I think I'll set up a separate industry at some point, but I can't really do anything in this province until it's cored anyway, so... And it's not really that important. But yeah, I managed to get 3 force limit. Although my base quantity is really 2.9, so it only lasts for as long as the advisor down here lasts, but she's only 36, so... Yearly death chance, 0. Yeah. At the very least, she's going to be there for a while, and by the time this province scores, I can start tapping into its manpower too, which should be way, way higher. Though there will be difficulties in getting stuff taxed anyway, because, well, autonomy is high due to, well, elites doing their thing. The nobles here aren't particularly loyal, it's a holdover from Bremen-Werden. As well as general distaste of the faction towards me. Yeah, -19. Resting point, -13.9. Well, at least it's not the spiritualists, which for some reason have -36. I don't know how I got that low, though. Is it some holdover from me doing this? Either way, I know this. I can't do populist reform anymore. I can't suppress populist... Because the +5 is going to cause havoc in this province. And I don't think I'm powerful enough to take on any, well, rebels that would arise from this province. But still, investment into the province will improve the livelihoods of the people there, which will in general increase welfare. Though I should avoid any, peasantry reforms until later. Because that will cause a lot of destabilization. I think the focus should be on tax reform in order to improve tax gain. Though I do need to continue expanding state reach if I want that, so... This will hurt for a while, but it's going to be good. I'm going to need to increase average state reach to 40. Because I do kind of want to do both reforms at the same time. Plus, it will increase base welfare, which will make it less of a problem. Yeah. Though minor reforms do need to occur eventually. But yeah. Also, Bremen-Werden has completely taken me on as rival, despite the historical friendship. But that's gonna disappear eventually via event. Denmark-Norway is a potential problem, but Bohemia is strong enough to keep anyone except the most powerful from going on in. Although there's a massive coalition against France, which probably could join if I wanted to. Nope, don't exactly have 50, I only have 15. Guess just distance. Oh, and the Great Horde took another province. I think this used to be owned by Novgorod. Yeah. Yeah, that was another war I just didn't notice. Still, I'm not sure if I can actually take on invading again. 3k troops is a lot. Even if I can match that, there's also their allies. Theoretically, I could get a Hamburg to join, which I've managed to ally now that I've left the Trade League. But, well, favors take time. Might as well exchange favors for trust, because Lübeck's not going to be doing anything. But I wonder how vassal... Okay, Lübeck's a free city. Yeah... Free cities cannot become subjects. Might be useful for something, I don't know. Also teched up once, because of course. I will have to eventually start thinking about the next ideas group. Though that's going to be taking at least 3 sessions. Well, definitely more than 3 sessions. 4 seems about right. It's going to be a military idea group, probably. I mean, just look at my point distribution. I need the admin points for something. Well, reformed. Same with diplo points. Diplo points also needed for tech, but... I don't really need the ahead of time bonus. Plus 20% global trade power still isn't much. I have 2 trade power in total, which is enough for about 1%. Okay, the actual total trade power in the node. Let's see here. Trade power is about 41, and that's about 24%. So I have almost 2%. I have about 1.9%, I'd say. Actually, it should be close to 2%. Wait, 24%, 4. Oh, okay. So a bit more than 1%, like 1.1. Calculate the numbers the wrong way around. But a massive boost in population, along with my, well, the sheer manpower potential I can gain from conscription rather than relying on the locals to do everything. It's expensive in money, but it's very effective in the amount of manpower I can collect, especially in provinces with a high state reach. I mean, I can already get about almost 4,000 troops just from a province that has, well, like 50,000 population, which is a lot. Compare that to this province, which they don't even have 1,000 troops available. Just assuming that the feudal levy is all that they have. I doubt that's the case, but still. Well, actually, yeah, that's actually about accurate if I remember their manpower calculations. I've checked everything over, and it looks like that seems to be the amount. Wow, 3 loyalty. Well, 3.98 loyalty. You must be doing something wrong. Corruption is going through the roof. But yeah, compare that to the population of the province, which is about 70k. I'm way more capable of leveraging the population of my provinces for warfare than any other country around me. The problem is, my population is small. But this province allows me to double it without instabilities that tends to come across with time. But I do admit that the lack of possibilities for the population of the province does mean that things aren't the greatest. But some investment from me should allow for some fun. Especially since this province looks like it could really use it, including an industry in order to get urbanized to come. But a new industry, of course. Something different from the others. Might as well diversify, right? Especially as I expand to become an economic power in my own right. But yeah, I have gone on for long enough. For certain. I'll see you again next time. Until then.